So, I was busy for few days, so forgive the delay for the late upload. But today we'll be continuing, we'll be finishing of the chapter of work energy theorem. Okay. Today we'll be finishing of the chapter work, energy and collision. We are doing with collision, and today we'll be finishing off the part of collision. And after today's lecture, the entire curriculum of work energy and collision will be completed. Okay, for NEET curriculum. Okay. So let's read the next question. Okay, a body of mass 4m is moving with speed u, collides with another body b of mass 2m at rest. The collision is head-on and elastic in nature. After collision, the fraction of energy lost by the colliding body A is. So what is being asked in the question? Let's recognize the question. Okay, there is one body A of mass 4m moving with velocity u. It collides with another body of mass 2m that is kept out here, and this body B has no velocity. So this body goes out here and collides, then it rebounds, and it is given the collision is elastic in nature. Okay, so let's assume after rebounding the velocity becomes u1 and this velocity becomes v1. Okay, so before collision the velocity was u and v is equals to 0. Okay, after collision what happened? After collision the velocity became u1 and v1. Okay, so for elastic collision we know that coefficient of restitution is equals to 1. And what is coefficient of restitution? Velocity of separation by velocity of approach. Okay, and for velocity of separation, suppose we take this body, we take the frame of reference to this body. Okay, so what is the velocity of separation? v1 minus u1. Okay, let's assume this side to be positive and this side to be negative. So v1 minus u1 is the velocity of separation. And what is the velocity of approach? Velocity of approach is nothing but we have to change the body. Okay, and is equals to u. Okay, so from this equation we obtain that v1 minus u1 is equals to u. Okay, this is nothing but v. U minus 0, u minus 0 is nothing but u. Okay, so now let's proceed with the question. Okay, now we can apply one more thing. We can apply conservation of momentum, because for all collision conservation of momentum is applicable. So before colliding, so applying conservation of momentum, before collision. Before collision, what is the initial momentum? 4mu plus 2m into 0. 4m into u plus 2m into 0. After collision, what is the momentum? After collision, what is the momentum? 4m into u1 plus 2m into v1. Okay, 4m into u1 plus 2m into v1. So for all types of collision, conservation of momentum is applicable. So initial momentum before collision is equals to final momentum after collision. So we can say that from these two equation, 4m u plus 2m into 0 is 0 is equals to 4m u1 plus 2m v1. We can say this or not? So we can cancel out this m. See, or 4u is equals to 4u1 plus 2v1, and we can cancel out the 2 also. Okay, from here 2 and this one becomes 1. So 2u is equals to 2u1 plus v1. Okay, now this we obtained as equation 1. Okay, now I don't know the value of u1 and v1, but I have a equation from coefficient of restitution that v1 minus u1 is equals to u. So let's write that equation out here. v1 minus u1 is equals to u. Okay. Now the problem is I don't like v1 and u1, so I have to cancel out those. So how do I cancel? Okay, let's see. I multiply the denominator equation by negative. So out here minus, okay, minus, and this minus will become plus. I multiplied the entire denominator equation by minus 1. So when you multiply the entire denominator equation by minus 1, we change the sign. Okay. So minus v1 and plus v1 gets cancelled. 2u1 plus u1 is 3u1. And on the left hand side, 2u minus u is u. So can I say out here that u1 is equals to u by 3? So if u1 is equals to u by 3, let's take up this second equation again, equation number b. Equation number b is v1 minus u1 is equals to u, or v1 minus u1 is equals to u. So what is u1? u1 is u by 3, or v1 minus u by 3 is equals to u. Okay? Or v1 is equals to u plus u by 3, or 4u by 3. Okay? v1 is equals to 4u by 3 and u1 is equals to u by 3. Okay. Now see what is given in the question, or what is asked in the question. The question is asking, after collision, the fraction of energy lost by the colliding body A. That means we have to find out the kinetic energy final of body A minus kinetic energy initial of body A. Okay? Kinetic energy final of body A minus kinetic energy initial of body A. This is being asked in the question. Okay? And what is the velocity of body A? Velocity of body A initial was u, and u1 was, final velocity of body A was u1, and u1 was equals to u by 3. u1 is equals to u by 3. So can we find out the kinetic energy or change in kinetic energy? So change in kinetic energy. What is the formula for kinetic energy? The formula for kinetic energy is half mass into velocity square. So what is kinetic energy final? Kinetic energy final of body A is half mass is 4m into what is the velocity final? Final velocity is u by 3. u by 3 square. What is kinetic energy initial of body A? Of body A. See the question properly. The question is asking only for body A. Okay? The initial velocity was u square. So change in kinetic energy is kinetic energy final minus kinetic energy initial, or half 4m. We can take these two common into u by 3 square minus u square. Okay? So u square minus u square by 9, it becomes change in kinetic energy is equals to half 4m u square minus u square by 9, or 8 u square by 9. See, there will be a negative sign out here, but we are only interested in the magnitude. Okay? You are only interested in the magnitude. Okay? So change in kinetic energy by initial kinetic energy. What is it? Change in kinetic energy is half 4m 8 by 9 u square. What is initial kinetic energy? Half 4m u square. So what is the fraction of energy loss? Fraction of energy loss is nothing but change in kinetic energy by initial kinetic energy, or change by initial. Okay? And what if percentage was asked? What would happen if percentage was asked? Nothing but you have to multiply this by 100. Okay? So I taught you all this before. So this half gets cancelled, 4m gets cancelled, u square gets cancelled, or is equals to 8 by 9. So our correct option is option number A. Okay? Our correct option is option number A. Now we'll learn with a little bit of new concept. The name of the concept is concept of center of mass. Concept of center of mass. Okay? Concept of center of mass. So what is the center of mass? Okay, what am I referring to by center of mass? Okay. Now imagine a graph paper. Okay. In this graph paper, this is the origin. Okay. This is mass m1. This is mass m2. And this is mass m3. Out here, the mass 1 is situated from origin at x1. That means the distance from mass m1 to origin is x1. Or we are applying, or we are keeping all the masses in x-axis. Okay, x is equals to 1. Out here, x is equals to 2. Out here, x is equals to 3. Okay. Then for these three bodies, for m1, m2 and m3, for these three bodies, the center of mass is given by the formula of, right now I am just defining the center of mass. Where it is applicable, I'll tell you a little bit later, okay? For now, just learn the definition of center of mass. Center of mass is given by m1 into x1. x1 is nothing but the position of mass 1 from the origin. Okay? m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3. Okay? By m1 plus m2 plus m3. Okay. What would happen if there were more bodies? m4, m5. Similarly, m4 into x4. Okay. So what is this x3 now? x3 is nothing but the distance from this body 3 to the origin. That is called x3. Okay. Now, why did I introduce center of mass? Just so that we can apply the conservation of momentum of center of mass. Sir, why was that necessary? We'll understand in the upcoming problem. Okay. So write down the new concept or new reading name. Concept of conservation of momentum of center of mass. Concept of conservation of momentum of center of mass. Center of mass. Okay. Concept of conservation of momentum of center of mass. Okay. So what are we going to learn in this concept? Imagine the same three bodies as before. Okay. Out here it is m1. Out here it is m2. Three masses are kept. m3. And it is kept at x1 from origin, x2 from origin, and x3 from origin. x1 is nothing but this much distance. Okay, x1 is nothing but this much distance. x2 is nothing but this much distance. Okay, x3 is nothing but this much distance. Okay. Now imagine an artificial bubble or artificial envelope. Okay, or artificial boundary. Okay. Now imagine someone within the system, this out here, it exploded, and this body exploded and it collided with this body, then it again collided with this body, then it is colliding like that only. Okay, it is colliding randomly in this arena within this shell. Okay, this is 1D, but just imagine if even if 2D was there, this velocity was v1, this velocity was v2, and this velocity was v3. It was initially at rest, then some explosion happened out here, then they got v1 velocity, v2 velocity, and v3 velocity. Okay, and it is random, I don't know. Okay, then the concept of conservation of momentum of center of mass says that the net momentum of the system remains constant unless no external force acts on it. Okay, the net momentum of the system remains constant. Unless no external force acts. External force why is my spelling getting wrong? Acts on the system. Okay, the net momentum of the system remains constant unless no external force acts on the system. That means out here explosion has taken place. So when explosion has taken place, was there any external force coming and moving this body? No, the explosion was internal. So it says that the momentum before the explosion of this system and the momentum after the explosion of this system are same. Okay, this theory says that. But how do we find out the net momentum of the system? Okay, what is the net momentum of this system? The net momentum of this system is given by total mass of the system into velocity of center of mass of the system. Okay, so net momentum of the system, net momentum of the system is given by total mass of the system is equals to total mass of the system into velocity of center of mass of the system into velocity of center of mass of the system okay, velocity of center of mass of the system. Okay. So all fair and good, but what is velocity of center of mass of the system? I don't know the velocity of center of mass of the system. So to find out the velocity of center of mass of the system, assume the same old thing. Okay, out here it was mass m1, out here it was mass m2, and out here it was mass m3. Out here it was x1, x2 and x3. Okay, this was moving with velocity v1, this was moving with velocity v2, and this was moving with velocity v3. So velocity of center of mass is nothing but velocity of center of mass is nothing but m1 v1 plus m2 v2 plus m3 v3 by m1 plus m2 plus m3 by m1 plus m2 plus m3. So whenever they ask the center of anything, okay, center of mass or position of mass, velocity of center of mass or position of center of mass or acceleration of center of mass, you just multiply the mass into whatever is asked plus total of all the particles in the system, okay, divided by total mass. That is the velocity of, or sorry, that is whatever is given in the, means whatever is center of mass is asked, okay. Okay, whatever the parameter of center of mass is asked. So hot out here. So let's read the next question. A particle of mass 5 m at rest suddenly breaks on its own into 3 fragments. 2 fragments of mass m each move along mutually perpendicular direction with each speed v. The energy released during the process is, okay. So what is happening out here? See, let's recognize the question, okay. A particle of mass 5 m, okay, it was at rest, that means the velocity was at 0. What happened out here was it got broken into 3 fragments, okay. Mass of m each, that means m and 3m. It got broken into 3 fragments. Now this mass of m moves perpendicular direction with each of velocity v, okay. What is the energy released during this process? So what is the question? So we have to find out the energy released in this process, but what would be the approach? How would we find out the velocity at this, or velocity released by this explosion when they have given us these 2 velocities, okay. See, okay, now understand this concept. Whatever energy was released during this explosion, whatever energy that was released during this explosion, or all of that energy got converted into kinetic energy of these 3 particles. That much is understood, okay. Whatever the chemical energy or heat energy was released during this explosion, all of them got converted into kinetic energy of this system, okay. So kinetic energy of this body plus kinetic energy of this body plus kinetic energy of this body is equals to the energy released during this explosion, okay. So because the center of mass, or because the velocity of center of mass before and after acceleration would be constant, because no external force is acting on this object. Is there any external force acting on this object? No. After explosion is always internal, so there was no external force acting on this system, okay. So we can say that velocity of center of mass of this system is conserved, okay. So velocity of center of mass is constant. So what is the velocity of center of mass? How do we know? See, out here this system only got converted into this system, no? So what was the velocity of center of mass out here? The velocity of center of mass out here was equals to 0. So what would be the velocity of center of mass out here? Is equals to 0. How do we find out the velocity of center of mass? Body A into velocity vector of VA plus body B into velocity vector of VB plus 3m into velocity vector of third body plus m plus 3m is equals to 5m is equals to 0. Now don't perform a silly mistake and add these two. mv plus mv is equals to 2mv. No, these are vector quantities. This velocity is a vector, this velocity is a vector, and they are in perpendicular direction. So what would happen when we add two perpendicular vectors? mv whole square plus mv whole square under root. So that would give us mv root 2. Understood? The resultant of this vector and this vector would give us a vector in this direction, and the magnitude of that vector would be mv root 2. Okay, if this vector is mv, this vector is mv, the magnitude of this vector is mv root 2. So mv root 2 plus 3 mu vector is equals to 5m. Can we multiply the 5m by 0 on the right hand side? Yes, we can. So it will be 0. So we can cancel out the m. Okay. So out here we can see that v root 2 by 3 is equals to minus u, or u vector is equals to minus v root 2 by 3. In physics, whenever minus is applicable, that means what? This u is exactly opposite to the direction of this. That means this is the minus of this vector, and the magnitude is same as this. That means u vector is nothing but same as, sorry, not same as, because the mass was greater, this would be v root 2 by 3. V root 2 by 3. Okay. So, what is the energy released? Energy released is total summation of kinetic energy after the collision, or half m v square plus half m v square. Okay, one more thing to note out here. This v and this v are scalar quantities. Out here momentum was a vector quantity, so you added v plus v equals to v root 2. But out here v square plus v square is equals to 2v square. Kinetic energy is always a scalar quantity. Okay, so let me teach you a trick in physics. Dot product of two vectors are always vectors. Whenever a vector is squared, okay, whenever a vector is squared, it becomes scalar. Just remember out here. Okay, in your NEET curriculum, whenever a vector is squared, it automatically becomes a scalar. Okay, plus half into 3m, mass was 3 times this mass, into what was the velocity? V root 2 by 3 square. So let's solve this. Okay, so total kinetic energy is equals to half mv square plus half mv square is equals to mv square. Half plus half is equals to 1, plus half into 3m into plus half into 3m into v by v root 2 by 3 whole square. V root 2 by 3 whole square. Okay, or mv square plus half into 3m into v square into 2 by 9. Okay, 3 3s are 9, 2 and 2 gets cancelled, so is equals to mv square plus mv square by 3, or is equals to 4 mv square by 3. So what is the answer? 4 by 3 mv square. Our correct option is option number D. Okay, so let's check the next question. So now we proceed with the next question. So what does the next question say? What does the next question say? A body of mass 4m is lying in xy plane at rest. It is suddenly exploded into 3 pieces. 2 pieces of mass m move perpendicular to each other with v. The total kinetic energy generated due to the explosion is, it is the same type of question. The body of mass 4m is lying, then it suddenly exploded. Okay, and one mass of m is moving upwards with velocity v, and another mass of m is moving sideways with velocity v. It doesn't matter you do down or up, as long as these two angles, as long as this velocity and this velocity are right angle triangles, all combinations are fair and okay. Okay? And the remaining masses are, if these masses get broken into 3 pieces, m, this mass should be 2m, because 2m plus m is equals to 4. Okay. Similarly, I'll assume the velocity of this body to be u. So we know that by conservation of momentum, momentum before the explosion is equals to momentum after the explosion. Okay. So what is momentum before the explosion? So before explosion, momentum before explosion is 0 because mass into initial velocity of the body was 0. Okay. Initial velocity of the body was 0. So we know that momentum after collision is also equals to 0. So after explosion, okay, so m into v vector plus m into v vector plus 2m into u vector, this is also equals to 0. Now don't add these two vector and make them 2mv. Don't add these two vector and make them 2mv, because the direction of this vector is upwards and the direction of this vector is sideways. So when you add two equal vectors which are right angle triangles, okay, they give us the answer v root 2. How? V square plus v square. I said it, you have learned it in previous classes, but still I am doing it. Okay. So mv plus mv gives us mv root 2. Okay. What is the direction? Direction is 45 degree from x-axis. Okay. Plus 2mu vector is equals to 0. Can I cancel this m and this m? Yes, of course I can. So our u vector comes as, u vector is nothing but v root 2 by 2. Minus means nothing but this velocity vector or this u vector will be directly opposite to this vector, will be directly opposite to this resultant vector. That is the only concept of minus v by root 2. Okay. So I obtain the velocity of this u. Okay. Now what is the question asking? The total kinetic energy. Total kinetic energy is given by kinetic energy of first particle after collision, half mv square plus half mv square, and I told you these all are scalar quantities, half 2m and v root 2 by 2 square. Okay. So let's find out what is total kinetic energy. Half mv square plus half mv square is equals to mv. Okay. Out here 2 gets cut. Okay. You can simplify this also. No, v by root 2. 2 can be written as root 2 into root 2. So it will be written as v by root 2. Let me write it. This 2 can be written as root 2 into root 2. So this root 2 and downward root 2 get cancelled. So our u will become as minus v by root 2. So I am writing it neatly. Okay. V by root 2. I am ignoring the minus because minus square is always positive 1. Okay. And this comes as mv plus mv square by 2 is equals to 3 by 2 mv square. Okay. So correct option is option number B. Okay. Now let's proceed to the next question. An explosion blows a rock into three parts. Two parts go off at right angle to each other. These two are 1 kg and moving with velocity 12 meter per second, and 2 kg moving with velocity 8 meter per second. If the third part flies off with a velocity of 4 meter per second square, its mass is. Okay. So the same problem. The problem category is same. So what was the initial mass before explosion? 1 kg plus 2 kg plus 1 kg, 2 kg plus m kg. So can I write 1 plus 2 plus m was the initial mass? So our initial mass was nothing but 3 plus m, or 3 kg plus m kg of mass. After explosion, this 1 kg of block moved upward with 12 meter per second. Okay. upward with 12 meter per second. This 2 kg block moved with a velocity of 8 meter per second at right angles. 8 meter per second. So what is the combination of these two vectors? What is the combination of these two vectors? Okay. We know that the third velocity is 4 meter per second. Okay. And from the previous problems we have learned that this velocity vector will be directly opposite to the combination of these two vectors. Okay. So let's add these two vectors. Momentum is mass into velocity. So 12 into 1 is 12. 8 into 2 is 16. And what is the resultant? Resultant is nothing but 16 square plus 12 square is equals to 256 plus 144 under root. What is 256 plus 144? 400 or 400 root 2. So 400 root is nothing but 20. Okay. 400 root 2 is nothing but 20. Understood how I got 20? 16 square is 256, 12 square is 144, and 256 plus 144 is equals to 400. Square root of 400 is equals to 20. Now I know that this momentum or m into 4, this m into 4 will be directly opposite to this vector and the magnitude will be same. The magnitude of m into 4 will be same as 20. So 4m. So we know that 4m is equals to 20, or m can be written as 5. Correct option is option number A. So let's solve the next question. A moving block having mass m collides with another stationary block of mass having mass 4m. The lighter block comes to rest after collision. When the initial velocity of the lighter block is v, the value of coefficient of restitution will be. Okay. So what is the question saying? In physics, recognition of the question is always the first step. Okay. Try to recognize the question. Then you attempt your formula or whatever that comes up. Okay. So let's recognize the question. M is given, V is given, and this is given as 4m. And this body, this 4m body was at rest. Okay. Now it collided. Let's not draw the eye right now. Now it collided. And after collision, the lighter body m became 0, the velocity of lighter body became 0, and the velocity of heavier body 4m started moving with some velocity u. Okay. And the question is asking what is the coefficient of restitution. So for coefficient of restitution is nothing but velocity of separation by velocity of approach. How do we find out the velocity of separation? Take a observer in a body and find out the velocity. This side will be considered positive and this side will be considered negative. So velocity of separation will be out here. And I always taught you change the observer. Okay. So what is velocity of separation or velocity of afterwards? Velocity of separation is plus u. What is velocity of approach? Velocity of approach is plus v. Okay. So u by v is coefficient of restitution. But I don't know the value of u. Neither do I know the value of v. But I know for all collisions, conservation of momentum is applicable. Okay. That I know. So initial momentum is how much? Before collision. Initial momentum before collision is mv plus 4m into 0. What is final momentum after collision? Final momentum after collision is m into 0 plus 4mu. And we know that mv is equals to 4mu. M and m gets cancelled. So we know that u is equals to v by 4. Okay. Or v is equals to 4u. So can I substitute this v out here? Of course I can. Or E is equals to u by 4 u. U gets cancelled, or 1 by 4, which is equals to 0.25. Our correct option is option number B. Okay. Now let's see the next question. Two identical balls A and B having velocities 0.5 meter per second and minus 0.3 meter per second respectively collide elastically in one dimension. The velocity of B and A after the collision will be respectively. Okay. There is a trick to solve this and there is a method to solve this. The method to solve this we have done already. Okay. It's same as previous examples. I want you to try using the method. It's the same method. Velocity before collision, velocity after collision. Then you apply conservation of momentum. It is the same thing. Okay. Now remember the trick. The trick out here is when two equal masses are colliding. Two equal masses are colliding. Suppose it is colliding with V1 and this one is U1. And they collided elastically. They collided elastically. After collision, both the masses change their velocity. That means this mass will have U1 velocity and this mass will have V1 velocity. Okay? Am I clear up till here? This is the trick. If this mass moving with V1 collides with this mass moving with U1 and the collision is elastic, after collision the masses will exchange their velocities. Okay? That is the trick. So our correct option is option number C, because they will exchange their velocities. Using the long term also, the same answer will come. Just remember to change the observer. Okay? So let's do next question. On a frictionless surface, a block of mass m moving with speed v collides elastically with another block of same mass m, which is initially at rest. After collision, the first block moves at an angle theta to its initial direction and has a speed v is equals to 3. The second block after collision is. So out here, don't apply the previous trick. The previous trick of it was only applicable for 1D collision. Okay? It means this body is colliding out here and after collision they'll move in the same direction. But understand this question, what is happening out here? There is a mass. It is moving with v. Okay? And another mass is kept slightly below this mass. Slightly below this mass. So when this mass comes and collide, what will happen? This mass will change its direction, okay, and will move in this direction, making an angle theta. We don't know what is theta. And the question is given, this mass after collision moves with u. Okay, so this is our thing, or this is our question that is given. Okay, so the question is asking the speed of this second block or the speed of this u. Now one more thing I want you to just observe. Okay, for collision, how many types of collision are there? Elastic, normal collision and inelastic. For perfectly elastic collision, E is equals to 1 or coefficient of restitution was equals to 1. For normal collision, coefficient of restitution varied from 0 to 1, and for inelastic collision, coefficient of restitution was 0. Okay. Now conservation of momentum was valid for all three types of collision: perfectly, normal collision and imperfect collision. For all types of collision, conservation of momentum was applicable. But for elastic collision, there was one other thing applicable: conservation of kinetic energy of all bodies. So only for elastic collision, we know that the conservation of kinetic energy for all bodies will be conserved. So is this a collision elastic? Let's see. Bodies collides elastically. Okay, this is elastic collision. So we can apply conservation of kinetic energy. Okay. So now the next question, sir, we can apply the conservation of momentum also. Why are you applying only the conservation of kinetic energy? Okay. Because this angle theta we don't know. Okay. We don't know this angle theta. There will be two momentum equations. It will get much complicated much more quickly. Okay. So in order to avoid that, I apply conservation of kinetic energy. So what kind of advantage will that provide? In conservation of kinetic energy, you don't need this angle theta, because the magnitude of this velocity is v by 3 given in the question. Okay, we can take this magnitude of velocity as a whole square, because that time velocity becomes scalar. Whenever you square any vector in your NEET curriculum, it always becomes a scalar, and scalar we don't need any direction. So kinetic energy before collision is equals to half mv square. Kinetic energy after collision is equals to half mv by 3 square plus half mu square. Half mu square. Okay. So can we write from this equation half mv square is equals to half mv by 3, or v square by 3 square is nothing but 9 plus half mu square. Okay. So this m and this m get cancelled, half and half gets cancelled. So we know that v square is equals to, or I can send this v square by 9 to the left hand side. So v square minus v square by 9 is equals to u square. Okay, or u square is equals to 1 minus 1 by 9 is equals to 8 by 9 v square. Okay, so our correct option is option number A. 8 becomes 4 into 2, root over 4 is 2, 2 comes outside and root 2 comes inside, and square root of 9 is 3. Okay, see, 8 by 9, no? 8 by 9, 4 into 2 under root by 9 under root. This 4 under root becomes 2 and it comes outside. Okay, so I shouldn't have to explain all these things. Okay, next question. A ball is moving with velocity 2 meters per second, collides head on with another stationary ball, double the mass. The coefficient of restitution is 0.5. Then their velocities in meter per second after the collision will be. Okay, so we apply the same type of policy. A mass m moving with 2 meters per second. Then another mass m which is twice the mass, or 2 times mass m, is stationary. Now after collision what happens? This m moves with velocity u1, and u1 I don't know, and this mass 2m moves with velocity u2. Even I don't know the velocity of u2, but I do know the coefficient of restitution is given as 0.5, or velocity of separation by velocity of approach is 0.5. So what is velocity of separation? This side is positive, this side is negative. For velocity of separation, we can easily say we keep the observer out here. Then we see this block. This block is moving with 2 meters per second. So what was the first case? This is the velocity of separation or velocity of approach? This is the velocity of approach. The first case is always the velocity of approach, and the second case is the velocity of separation. So 2, and what is the velocity of separation? Velocity of separation, we will see it from this body. So it is equals to u2 minus u1. u2 minus u1. Okay. So we know that 0.5 into 2, I send this 2 to the left hand side. Okay, 0.5 into 2 is nothing but 1. So 0.5 into 2 is equals to u2 minus u1. Okay. And problem is I still don't know the value of u2 and u1. How do I find it out? Acha, I know something. Conservation of momentum. Momentum will also be conserved, no? So by applying conservation of momentum before collision, okay, 2m plus, what is the velocity of this? 2 into m. Momentum is mass into velocity. Okay, and out here the velocity is 0. So 2m into 0. Okay. After collision, what is the momentum? m u1 plus 2m u2. We know that m u1 plus 2m u2 will be equals to initial momentum. This m u1 plus 2m u2 will be equals to initial momentum or momentum before collision, which is given as 2m. Or I can directly write, I am directly writing it as 2m. Okay, I am cancelling the m and I get u1 plus 2u2 is equals to 2. So I got another equation, and previously I had this equation. So can I perform simultaneous equation and solve this too? I am writing this same equation out here. Okay, plus u1 plus 2u2 is equals to 2. So let's solve this equation simultaneously. Minus u1 and plus u1 gets cancelled. 2u2 plus u2 is 3u2 and is equals to 3. So 3 gets cancelled, or u2 is equals to 1, or u2 equals to 1. So what is the value of u2? u2 is 1. Okay. Now by this equation we know that 1 is equals to u2 minus u1 and u2 is equals to 1. So what is u1? u1 is nothing but 0. So u1 is 0 and u2 is 1. So our option A is correct. This is how we found out both the velocities. Okay. Let's do the next question. A shell of mass 200 gram is ejected from a gun of mass 4 kg by an explosion that generates 1.505 kilojoule of energy. The initial velocity of the shell is. Okay. Now I told you again and again, in an explosion, the entire explosion energy or entire chemical energy of the explosion is converted into kinetic energy of both the particles or kinetic energy of the system. So what was happening out here? Suppose this was a gun. Okay, this was a gun and this was a bullet. Okay, now what happened? This got fired. Okay, now this got fired. So when we fire a gun, automatically there is a recoil. Recoil means the gun moves with some velocity backwards and the bullet moves forward with some other velocities. So after firing the gun, the bullet, let's say the bullet moves with velocity v and the gun moves backward with velocity u. Okay, most of you haven't used gun and I don't recommend using them right now at this phase of your life. Okay. But whenever a gun is fired, there is always a recoil velocity. Recoil velocity means the gun will move towards the back. Okay. So the mass of bullet is given as 200 gram, which is given as 0.2 kg. Okay. Now in explosion we can apply, in explosion the energy of the explosion was converted into this kinetic energy. Okay. So what is the momentum before collision? Both are at rest. Before the gun is fired, both the bullet and the gun is at rest. So momentum, initial momentum is equals to 0. mass of bullet into velocity of 0 plus mass of gun into 0. But final momentum, one more thing, momentum is a vector quantity, so it's better to assign a coordinate system. Final momentum is nothing but mass of gun into minus of u. Why? Because velocity is acting in negative direction, plus 0.2 v. Okay, what is the mass of gun? Mass of gun is given as 4 kg. Okay, so mass of gun is nothing but 4 kg. So we know that final momentum is equals to initial momentum. So minus 4u plus 0.2 v is equals to 0. Okay, or 0.2 v is equals to 4u. Okay, or v is equals to 20 u. Okay, this much is clear. That means the bullet is traveling 20 times faster than the gun. Okay, now the question is asking the initial velocity of the shell. Okay, the initial velocity of the shell, and they has given us the total explosion energy. Total explosion energy is 1.05, and the total explosion energy is converted into kinetic energy of all the bodies. So what is the kinetic energy of the gun? Half mass of gun into u. U is, let's say, u square, plus the kinetic energy of bullet. Half mass of bullet is 0.2. The velocity of bullet is 20 times u. Velocity of bullet is v, no? Velocity of bullet is v, and v is nothing but 20 times u. So square. And what is this combination of energy given as? 1.05 kilojoule. So you always have to convert this kilojoule into joules, because the SI unit of energy is joule. 1.05 into 10 to the power 3 is equals to 1050 joule. Okay, so let's solve it. It gives us 2u square plus 0.1, 20 square is nothing but 400, u square is equals to 1050, or 2u square plus 40u square is equals to 1050. Okay. Now, how do we solve the remaining? Or 42 u square is equals to 1050. Okay. So we obtain 42 u square is equals to 1050. Okay. Or u square is equals to 1050 divided by 42. So if we solve this, 42 into 25 times is 1050. But u square is equals to 25. Okay, u is equals to 5. If u square is equals to 25, u is equals to 5. But the question is asking the velocity of shell, not the velocity of gun. The velocity of shell is nothing but 20 times the velocity of gun. So velocity of shell is 20 into 5, or is equals to 100 meter per second. The correct option is option number A. Let's do the next question. A stationary particle explodes into two particles of masses m1 and m2, which moves in opposite direction with velocities v1 and v2. The ratio of their kinetic energies E1 by E2 is. Okay. This is theoretical question. Okay, what is the question saying? This is a mass m1 plus m2. This exploded, and m1 started moving in this direction with v1, and m2 started moving in this direction with v2. Okay. Now from conservation of momentum, initial momentum is equals to 0. Why? Because this mass was not moving. Final momentum is equals to minus mv1 m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Why minus? Because momentum is a vector quantity. If this side is plus, this side is minus. So we know that final momentum is equals to initial momentum, or minus m1 v1 plus m2 v2 is equals to 0. Or we can say that m1 v1 is equals to m2 v2. Okay. Or we can also say here momentum of body 1 is equals to momentum of body 2. You can say that. Now, remember in kinetic energy, I taught you the relation between kinetic energy and momentum. The relation between kinetic energy and momentum is kinetic energy is momentum square by 2m. Okay, don't forget the formulas. Kinetic energy, it is written as E out here, is P square by 2m. So what is kinetic energy of particle 1? Kinetic energy of particle 1 is P1 square by 2m1. And kinetic energy of particle 2 is P2 square by 2m2. So P1 is equals to P2. Okay. So E1 by E2 is equals to P1 square by 2m1 divided by P2 square by 2m2. P1 and P2 are equal, so you can divide it. 2 and 2 gets cut. So this gives us m2 by m1. Okay. So our correct option is option number C. So now let's read the next question. Two equal masses of m1 and m2 moving along the same straight line with velocities +3 and -5 respectively collide elastically. Their velocities after the collision will be respectively. So the trick about elastic collision with same masses is that they exchange the velocities. That means body A or m1 that has been moving with 3 meter per second will start moving with -5 meter per second, and m2 that has been moving with -5 meter per second will start moving with +3 meter per second. Okay, so we automatically know that option D is our correct. But how does it relate with the methodology? Okay, so I'll do it by long methodology. This was mass m1. The mass of m1 mass is m, and it is 3 meter per second. This is mass m2. It has the same mass, but is moving with -5. That means in opposite direction. -5 meter per second. How do I know this direction is -5? You can assign any direction. Okay, this side to be positive and this side to be negative, or vice versa. The same type of situation will come where two bodies are moving towards each other. Okay, even if you assign this minus to the right hand side and plus to the left hand side, the two bodies will move towards each other. Okay, and after collision, I don't know the velocity. u1 and m is moving with u2. Okay, so what is the first thing that we do? The first thing that we do is find out the coefficient of restitution. E is equals to 1 is equals to Vs or velocity of separation by velocity of approach. For elastic collision, coefficient of restitution is equals to 1, and velocity of separation is found out by the second diagram. Okay, this is out here is the velocity of separation. So we keep our eye out here. Okay, so what is the relative velocity of this m1 with respect to this body? It is u2 minus u1, or is equals to u2 minus u1 by what is the, now you have to change the frame of reference to this body. Okay. What is the relative velocity of this body with respect to this body? 5 plus 3. 5 plus 3. Okay, is equals to 5 plus 3 is equals to 8. Okay, I'm directly writing 8. So we know that u2 minus u1 is equals to 8. If you multiply this 8 to the 1, if you multiply this 8 by 1, we get u2 minus u1 is equals to 8. So now we found one of the equation for explaining u2 minus u1. The other equation is obtained by conservation of momentum, and this conservation of momentum is applicable for all types of collision. So conservation of momentum or before collision, total momentum before collision is 3m minus of 5m. Minus of 5m because momentum is a vector quantity. Okay. After collision, it is mu1 plus mu2. So whatever the magnitude of u1 and u2 comes, see, whatever the magnitude of u1 and u2 comes, we'll substitute in the equation. So from these two equations, before collision and after collision, we know that 3m minus 2m is equals to minus 2m, and mu1 plus mu2 is equals to minus 2m, because total momentum before collision is equals to total momentum after collision. We can cut this m. Now we get the equation u1 plus u2 is equals to minus 2. Now if we substitute this equation out here by solving it simultaneously, we get u1 plus u2 is equals to minus 2. This is our equation D. And when we solve these two, okay, minus u1 and plus u1 gets cut. u2 plus u2 gets 2u2 is equals to 8 minus 2, 6. Or u2 is equals to 3. Okay, u2 is equals to 3. Now again putting this u2 is equals to 3 out here, u2 is equals to 3. So u1 is equals to minus 2 minus 3, or u1 is equals to minus 5. See, minus 5 and plus 3. So I have proved that when equal masses, okay, collide elastically, then they exchange their velocities. This has been proven successfully. Okay. So write down the note. When equal masses collide elastically, when equal masses collide elastically, that means coefficient of restitution is equals to 1, then they exchange their velocities. Okay. Now let's read the next question. Two identical balls A and B moving with velocities plus 0.5 meter per second and minus 0.3 meters per second respectively collide head on elastically. The velocity of ball A and ball B after collision will be, we know the answer, they'll exchange their velocity. Two identical balls, that means they have equal mass and they are colliding elastically. These two conditions are only necessary. So our option B is correct. Ball A will have this velocity and ball will B have this velocity because they exchange their velocities. Now, there is a thing I need you to revise. Okay? How do we convert meter per second to kilometer per hour or kilometer per hour to meter per second? Okay, if 1 kilometer per hour is given, how do we convert it to meter per second? 1 kilometer per hour is equals to 5 by 18 meter per second. So necessarily, whatever kilometer per hour is given, 18 kilometer per hour, 1000 kilometer per hour, we multiply it by 5 by 18. For example, if 36 kilometer per hour is given, what do? We apply unitary method, that means we apply 5 by 18 into 36 meter per second, or is equals to 10 meter per second. Similarly, if the velocity is given in meter per second, okay, 1 meter per second is equals to 18 by 5 kilometer per hour. This value 18 by 5 is nothing but the reverse of this value. Similarly, whatever meter per second is given, if you want to convert it to kilometer per hour, you divide it by 5 and multiply it by 18. Okay. So let's do our next question. A metal ball of mass 2 kg is moving with a velocity of 36 km per hour. has a head-on collision with a stationary ball of mass 3 kg. If after collision the two balls move together, the loss in kinetic energy due to collision is. After collision, the two balls move together. Okay. So what is given in the question? Okay. Given in the question is whenever after collision the bodies are sticking together. That means coefficient of restitution is equals to 0, or they are inelastic collision. Okay. For inelastic collision, body after the collision sticks together. Their coefficient of restitution becomes 0. So body 2 kg was moving with 36 km per hour. So let's convert every kilometer per hour into meter per second. Okay. Kilometer per hour, or 36 kilometer per hour gets converted into 36 into 5 by 18 meter per second, or is equals to 10 meter per second. Okay, and the second ball was stationary. So what was happening out here? This 2 kg block was moving with 10 meter per second, and this 3 kg block was not moving, was stationary. After the collision, this 2 kg block and this 3 kg block moved together. That means the collision was inelastic. Okay, or the coefficient of restitution is equals to 0. Okay? Just make a note. Okay, make a note. When the bodies stick together after collision, they are inelastic collision. And for inelastic collision, coefficient of restitution is equals to 0, or velocity of separation is equals to 0. So let's move back to the problem. This ball was moving with 10 meter per second, and after colliding they moved with common velocity. Okay. So we know conservation of momentum. Applying conservation of momentum, 2 kg into 10, 2 into 10 plus 3 into 0 is equals to 20. This is the momentum of before collision, and after collision we have 2 plus 3 is equals to 5 into the velocity v, which is moving. So we know that momentum before collision is equals to momentum after collision. This is momentum before collision, and this is momentum after collision. And we know that 5v is equals to 20. Why? Because 20 was the momentum before collision, or v is equals to 4. Congratulations, I found out the velocity. But the question never asked us about the velocity. The question asked us about the kinetic energy loss. What is the loss of kinetic energy? Loss of kinetic energy is equals to kinetic energy final minus kinetic energy initial. What is total kinetic energy final? Half. What is the formula for kinetic energy? Let's do it in a separate slide. Okay. What is the formula for kinetic energy? Half mv square. What was the total of initial kinetic energy? Total of initial kinetic energy was half 2 kg into 10 square plus 3 kg into 0 square, or half 2 kg into 10 square plus 3 kg into 0 square is 0. So I am writing it 0. Okay? What is kinetic energy final? Half into, you can either write 5 kg into 4 square, or you can add them separately. Both will have the same answer. Okay. So half 5 into 4 square, which gives us 540. Okay. 4 4s are 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 into 5 40. And this one is 2 gets cut 100. So we can clearly see final kinetic energy of the total system is lesser than initial kinetic energy of the total system. Or change in kinetic energy is equals to k final minus k initial, or 100 minus 40. You already know the answer. and that is 60. So what is 60? Option number C is correct. Okay. So let's move on to a new question. A body of mass m is moving with 3 km per hour, collides with a body of mass 2m at rest. Now the coalesced mass starts moving with velocity. Coalesced means they are sticking together. Okay, they are sticking together, and sticking together means coefficient of restitution is equals to 0. So when coefficient of restitution equals to 0, you can always apply conservation of momentum. Conservation of momentum is applicable for all types of collision, and conservation of kinetic energy is only applicable for elastic collision. Remember these two things. Okay. What was happening? M moving with 3 km per hour and 2m moving with 0 km per hour. After collision, they stick together. M, 2m. They stick together and find out the velocity. Okay, so simple enough. We apply conservation of momentum. Before collision, net momentum is equals to 3m plus 2m into 0. After collision, after collision, okay, m into v plus 2m into v, mv plus 2mv is equals to this 3m. Okay, we cut this m, or v plus 2v is equals to 3v, 3v is equals to 3, or v is equals to 1. Our correct answer is option A. Now let's do the next question. A ball is thrown vertically down from a height of 20 meters with an initial velocity of v0. It collides with the ground and loses 50% of its energy in collision and rebounds to the same height. The initial velocity v0 is. So what was happening out here? Let's see. Okay? This was ground. Okay? This was, someone was at the roof of a building 20 meters, and this person threw the ball downwards with some velocity v0. Okay? This is not dropping the ball. Dropping the ball means initial velocity is 0. He is throwing down the ball. Okay, so if the ball came out here, and of course gravity force acted on this ball, so this ball increases velocity v1, and it bounced back. While bouncing back, it lost 50% of the kinetic energy out here. While bouncing back, it lost 50% of the kinetic energy out here, and it reached to the same height. So what is the question saying? The question is asking us that you have to identify that the velocity at this side after bouncing back is equals to 0, because if the maximum height after bouncing back reached out here, okay, maximum height, at maximum height velocity is equals to 0, because it bounced back and reached to the maximum height. Okay, so this velocity is equals to 0. So when this velocity is equals to 0, can I find out this velocity? Can I find out this velocity? Of course. This is h, and we can simply apply v square is equals to u square plus 2as. Final velocity is 0. Okay. Initial velocity is v2. We don't know, because this ball is only going up, no? This ball is only going up, no? v2 square plus 2. Acceleration is minus 10, because velocity and acceleration are acting in opposite direction, and g is the magnitude of this acceleration, and s is given in the question as 20 meters. S is given in the question as 20 meters. So let's find out. 0 is equals to v2 square minus 20 minus 400. Or if we solve this, v2 is equals to under root of 400, which becomes 20 meter per second. So v2 came to be as 20 meter per second. And we know that kinetic energy out here was half of the kinetic energy out here. That means if kinetic energy out here was 2 ke, kinetic energy out here was ke, because it lost half of the kinetic energy after bouncing. Okay, 50% of its collision due to bouncing. Okay, so what was the kinetic energy out here? Mass is given as, I don't know, neither the question is given, so we'll consider mass to be as m. Okay, kinetic energy of 2. Okay, V2 corresponds to kinetic energy of 2, half m 20 square, or is equals to 400 by 2. Okay, or half m 400, half m into 400. So kinetic energy of 1 is automatically 2 into k2, 2 into k2, or is equals to half m 800. And what was the formula for kinetic energy? Half m v1 square. Because this 800, if you compare it nicely, this half m, this is only the v1 square, no? This parameter of 800 is only the v1 square. So you can directly write v1 square is equals to 800 instead of those lengthy calculations. If v1 is equals to 800, v1 square is equals to 800, v1 is equals to under root of 800, or I am solving it out here. Okay, v1 is equals to under root of 800, or under root of 800 can be written as 400 into 2, or 20 square into root 2. So what is the value of root 2? 1.41. This all you should remember. So 20 into 1.41, 20 into 1.41, we can multiply it reverse also. 1.41 into 20, 2 1s are 2, 4 2s are 8, 2 1s are 2. Okay, and 0, 28.2. So our correct option is option number C. No, our correct option is not option number C. We just found out V1. The question is asking for V0. Okay, don't perform silly mistakes like me. So we know that V1 is equals to 20 root 2. Then again we have to apply V square is equals to U square plus 2as. What is the final velocity, or V1? The ball was released from here and dropped out here, and V1 we know that 20 root 2. So what is V1 square? V1 square is nothing but 800. U1 square is V0, that is asked in the question. G is plus 10 or minus 10? Plus 10. Why? When the ball is released from here, the direction of velocity and the direction of acceleration are same. So we can apply both to be minus or both to be plus. The situation of the answer will come as same. Okay? Into S. What is S? 20. It is given as 20 meters in the question, no? Or 800 is equals to V0 plus 2 into 10 into 20. 10 into 20. 20 to the 40. 40 into 10 is 400. Or V0 is equals to V0 square. V0 square is equals to 400. Or V0 is equals to 20. Our correct option is option number B. Okay. So let's read the next question. Let's read the question. Two particles of M1 and M2 move with initial velocities U1 and U2. On collision, one of the particle gets excited and moves to higher energy level after absorbing energy E. If final velocities of the particle are V1 and V2, then they must have the relation. Achha, the question is intimidating in nature, but do not get intimidated by the question. Just read them calmly and just try to recognize what is given in the question. Two particles of mass, let's try to recognize what is given in the question. Okay? Two particles of mass M1 and M2 are moving with velocities U1 and U2. Sorry, U1 and u2. Okay? They collided. And after, means before collision or after collision, one of the particle absorbed energy E. Okay, and the final velocity after the collision is given as m1 moves with velocity v1 and m2 moves with velocity v2. So the question is asking which one of the following relation of kinetic energies are correct. See, all the options are of kinetic energy. Option A is m1 square e1. So I don't know what is m1 square plus e1. This is dimensionally very, stupid variable. So option A is automatically eliminated. m1 square u. There is nothing called, I don't know anything called m1 square u. Okay. Even m into u1 square would be the dimension of energy, but this dimension I don't know what they have given, and they have subtracted with the dimension of energy. So this is automatically invalid. Okay, from units and dimension chapter. Okay. Now, had there been no energy absorbed by this system, what would be the kinetic energy before and after collision? There would be the conservation of kinetic energy. Total kinetic energy before collision is equal to total kinetic energy after collision. But there is one more question. In the question, nowhere it is given that the particles are colliding elastically. So this is some kind of ambiguity that you have to understand from the options. Okay, you have to assume that the particles are colliding elastically. Okay, so when the energy is given, the energy is absorbed before the collision and subsequently the velocity increases. Okay, so kinetic energy initial plus energy input is equals to kinetic energy final. This is the energy given in the system, no? Kinetic energy final minus kinetic energy initial is equals to energy given to the system. Okay, or half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square plus E is equals to half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. Okay, initial kinetic energy plus E is equals to final kinetic energy. Okay, our correct option is option number D. Okay, now in this question I want to remember that in certain solution books the answer is given as wrong. Okay, so don't apply some common sense. Okay, next question. A rubber ball is dropped from a height of 5 meters on a planet, but the acceleration due to gravity is not known. On bouncing, it rises to 1.8 meter. The ball loses its velocity by a factor of, that means okay, there is a planet, I don't know what, let's suppose Mars. Okay, I don't know what is the gravitational acceleration due to Mars. Okay, even if you know, just don't remember it, because the question asks us not to know it. Okay, now in that extraterrestrial planet there is a building. On that building some person is standing and holding a stone, and he dropped the stone. Drop the stone means initial velocity is equals to 0. Now the stone reached out here and bounced out here, and on bouncing back it reached a height of 1.8 meter. 1.8 meter. Okay, so what is this velocity out here, so that it bounced back to 1.8 meter. Okay, what is the velocity out here? What is the velocity out here? The velocity out here is also equals to 0, because it reached to the maximum height. Okay, applying v square is equals to u square plus 2as. V square is equals to u square plus 2as. Now final velocity is equals to 0. Initial velocity we don't know, but a, whatever the value, will be value in minus gm. and S is given as 1.8. So 0 is equals to u square minus of 2 1.8 into gm. 1.8 into 2 is nothing but 3.6. So minus 3.6 gm. Gm is gravity on mass, okay? Or u square is equals to 3.6 gravity on mass. Acceleration due to gravity on mass. Okay. Now, I don't know whatever the value of gm out here, but I do know some amount of velocity, that this ball will have some amount of velocity out here. Okay. So applying the same equation, v square is equals to u square plus 2s. What is the initial velocity? Initial velocity is 0. Final velocity is v1. Acceleration is plus gm, because acceleration and velocities are in the same direction, and s is given as 5 meters. Or v1 square, I think this is v2. u2 is nothing but v2. v1 square is equals to 5 into 2 is 10 gm. Okay. So on bouncing back, the ball loses, the question is asking, the ball loses its velocity by a factor of. That means final velocity minus initial velocity by initial velocity. Okay. So the question is asking, find out final velocity v2 minus initial velocity by v1. What is final velocity? Final velocity is, this was the final velocity, no? 3.6 gm. Root 3.6 gm, not 3.6 gm, okay? Minus of initial velocity. Initial velocity is root 10 gm. Root 10 gm. Now, by initial velocity. What is initial velocity? Root 10 gm. Now, can I divide this denominator by both these units? So, we obtain 3.6 gm by 10 gm under root minus 10 by 10 gm by 10 gm. Or this is 1. Gm gets cancelled, and 0.36 or 36 divided by 100. 36 divided by 100 minus 1. What is root over 36? 6. What is root over 10? Sorry, root over 100? 10 minus 1. So it is equals to minus 0.4. Minus 0.4. Or 6 by 10 is equals to, sorry, minus 0.4 is equals to 4 by 10. 4 by 10. Okay. Or it can be broken down into 2, 5. What am I doing right now? 4 by 10 can be broken as 2 and 5. So our correct option is option number B. Okay. Now, the last question for our topic. The coefficient of restitution for a perfectly elastic collision is 1. For perfectly inelastic collision, 0. For normal collision, you will vary from 0 to 1. Okay. So revision. Okay. For perfectly elastic, normal, collision and inelastic collision, E is equals to 1. E ranges from 0 to 1 and E is equals to 0. Conservation of momentum is applicable, or net momentum before collision is equals to net momentum after collision, and conservation of momentum is applicable for all types of collision. But out here, only in case of elastic collision, kinetic energy is applicable, or conservation of kinetic energy is applicable, or net kinetic energy before collision is equals to net kinetic energy after collision. Okay. In normal collision, there is a loss of kinetic energy, and in elastic collision, there is a maximum loss of kinetic energy, maximum loss of kinetic energy. What do I mean? That means lesser the value of E, that means more less the value of E, more will the kinetic energy of the system decrease. That means there will be a more loss in kinetic energy of the system, and kinetic energy of the system is conserved when E is equals to 1. Okay, so with that we end with the chapter of work energy and collision. Okay.